Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be discussing WrestleMania Night 1. Now, firstly, before we begin, I do want to apologize if you hear any background noise other than my music, obviously. If you hear any loud screaming and all that, I do apologize that my parents are watching something right now. So if you end up hearing any loud echoing in the background other than my music, then you now know why. So I do apologize for that in advance. So we start off the show with Rhea Ripley. She takes on Becky Lynch in the first match, and this match was 17 minutes long. Now, I'm gonna say, this is just my personal opinion, I do not think this match was as good as Rhea's match with Charlotte, because the one with Charlotte really got me on edge, like it got me excited and all that. It just made me really excited, and it really got me into the match. This one, however, didn't really feel that way. Both Rhea and Becky's entrances were really good. So I thought their entrances were really great, and quotes from Becky's book was actually pretty good and all that. The band of Rhea's theme came out to sing for Rhea, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, I didn't think this match was as good, and the one thing that I really do not want WWE to use, and I hear the commentators say this, and the commentators brought this up while Becky was wrestling. They said she had a 102 fever coming into the match and all that stuff, and I really do not, and because Rhea Ripley won the match clean with a riptide, and you constantly could hear the commentator saying, oh, Becky had a 102 fever and all this shit. And I'm just like, can we not use that as an excuse for why Becky lost? I do not want that being used as an excuse for why Becky didn't win. Because, you know, it's freaking stupid. One other thing I do not like is how Becky fans, die-hard Becky fans who get upset, they kept saying Rhea Ripley, you know, they talk about how Rhea didn't get over on her own, like the Judgment Day helped her, but you gotta realize that people love Rhea Ripley, and people are like, oh, she got over because of Dominic Mysterio. I'm like, Dominic Mysterio is hated. People hate Dominic. Rhea got over on her own because her character and her gimmick suited her, and she got it over on her own. I don't like when people make excuses. Just because your favorite, just because someone you like lost, doesn't mean you need to make all the excuses in the world and cry like a little tool, act like a tool, and cry like a little child about it. Seriously. That's the one thing I cannot stand, is people whining about when their favorites lose. Yes, I do it myself. I get upset when people I like lose as well. I'm not afraid to admit that I do, but I don't take it to the extreme lengths that people do. People make all these excuses. All the excuses that they can come up with. So, Rhea won fair and square. She didn't cheat, no one from the Judgment Day helped her, and God's sake, she doesn't need the Judgment Day. She doesn't need their help. Rhea Ripley defends her title on her own. She has not needed Dominic or anyone's help in majority of her matches, and it's sickening when I hear people say, oh, Rhea can only win, can only retain when the Judgment Day help her. Other than the match she had with Raquel Rodriguez at Payback, can you find another match where Dominic or anyone else saved her? I only remember Dominic helping her in one match, and that was the match against Raquel. That was it. That was the only time I remember Dominic helping Rhea, when she feuded with Raquel. Other than that, she's never needed help. She's never needed Dominic in majority of her championship matches. So Rhea won fair and square, no excuses. If you go cry about it somewhere else and move on. So next up we have the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE tag team titles, and this is the final time we get to hear that. Finally, both titles had to be retrieved for the match to end. We had A-Town down under Grayson Waller and Austin Theory win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I did not expect this at all. I had no faith in believing that Triple H was going to have Grayson Waller win the tag team titles with Austin Theory. I believed that New Catch Republic or DIY were going to win another set. We're going to win the other set because I felt like I felt like they were going to win. But no, I'm okay with Grayson Waller. I'm more happy for Waller than I am for Theory, but it's cool to see Grayson Waller finally be a champion. This man should have been NXT North American and NXT champion when he was in NXT. I'm going to say right now, Waller should have had a run with the NXT belts, but it shows you that it tells you a lot, doesn't it? And the other team that won the Raw Tag Team titles was, well, the one team I knew was going to win them, and that was the Awesome Truth, the Miz and R-Truth. Now, it made sense to the story. It made sense to the story that R-Truth had with the Judgment Day. I knew they were going to win because of the storyline that they had with the Judgment Day, so it made sense story-wise for them to win. I just hope their title reign is short. I just hope it's a short title reign, because, man, am I getting a little bit tired of the lengthy title reigns. I only get tired of lengthy title reigns if I don't enjoy them. Like Roman's, for example. Like, unlike Gunther, Rhea, and Seth's long title reigns, I've enjoyed them to the point where I'm not tired of them. And I guess Io, I'm kind of tired of her as well, because she's barely done anything with the belt, but people like to try and say Io is a better champion than Rhea, when Io has defended her title less more than Rhea. But regardless, I'm kind of hoping for some shorter reigns, but in the world of Triple H, everyone gets a 200-day reign. Rey Mysterio and Andrade with the LWO versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominic with Legado del Fantasma. This match was pointless. I don't know why this match was even on WrestleMania. Like, I get this storyline's been going on for a while, but seriously, I didn't understand this. The only reason they did this match was just to get Dominic Mysterio on the card, because they didn't have Dominic on the card. So they're like, oh, we gotta find a way to get Dominic on the card for Mania. And the only way they could figure it out was to just have him involve himself with the Rey Mysterio storyline. It was originally going to be Dragon Lee, but someone attacked Dragon Lee. A lot of people think it's Carlito that did it, leading up to Carlito's heel turn. But that was the problem with this match. The problem with this match is that the faces legitimately cheated to win, because they had two flogs from the Philadelphia Eagles come down and literally help them win. Like, look, people like to complain about heels winning all the time. What's the excuse for baby faces, huh? What's the excuse for the baby faces? The baby faces can cheat because the heels need to get their comeuppance. How about the heel get their comeuppance without the use of the Philadelphia Eagles? Or two guys from the Philadelphia Eagles, please. This was random and unnecessary. It was random and unnecessary, and I thought it was really, really stupid. This match did not belong on WrestleMania. I'm sorry. This match should not have been on WrestleMania. So now we get to Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this match disappointed me. Triple H had Jimmy Uso turn heel in August at SummerSlam. He literally made us wait from September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months. He literally made us wait 8 months for this rivalry. And the one thing is that this match was not good. This match was super kick spam by Jimmy and Jey. It was like really the only thing I ever saw them do because I wasn't paying too much of attention to this match. But it just wasn't good. Like it was very underwhelming. It was not a good match at all. Sure, story-wise, the emotion story-wise, yeah, sure, fine. Maybe that was fine. But I don't know, man. I just did not enjoy this. This match, like, they literally made us 8 months just for this. They made us wait 8 months. 8 months. Just to give us a lackluster Uso versus Uso match. If it was more personal, and all that, if it was more personal, if they added a no disqualification stipulation and all that stuff, then maybe it would have been better. But it was just a straight-up singles match with just Jimmy and Jey super kicking each other about 1 trillion times. And this is the thing that I've been talking about for a while. I've talked about how they overuse certain moves. Remember when the super kick was the most protected move in wrestling when Shawn Michaels had it? But now you see everybody do it. You see everybody do it, and the super kick is now the most overused move in wrestling. It's now the most overused move in wrestling, and it's been demolished. It's been demolished. The move's been demolished. And I can say the same for the spear. We see a lot of wrestlers spearing now, like Bron Breakker and all these people. We're seeing so many spears. We see so many frog splashes. Like, wrestlers just use the same moves, and they overdose the same moves, and it gets to the point where I'm kind of sick of it, honestly. So that was my biggest problem with the Uso versus Uso match. I just was not invested. I was not invested. Did the right Uso win? Yes, the right Uso did win. The right Uso did win, but just didn't care. Bianca, Jade Cargill, and Naomi took on Damage Control. This was a pretty obvious outcome match. This one was a pretty obvious match from the moment this was announced. And I want to point things out real quickly here, is that Jade Cargill did her Jaded finishing move, but the commentators didn't call it that. Now I don't know if they've given it a name, but I've noticed 2 times that Jade Cargill's done this move. Because in AEW it was called the Jaded, and in WWE, Cora Jade does a double underhook DDT as her finisher, you know, the Dean Ambrose finishing move, and they've called that the Jaded. They've given that the name the Jaded. So when Jade Cargill debuted, everyone was expecting her to get the rights to the name the Jaded as her finishing move, and Cora Jade had to change the name of her finisher. But we've seen Jade Cargill do this move twice. And both times, the commentators have not called it the Jaded. It's either making me think that they're giving it a new name, or I don't know. I think they're probably giving it a new name since they're not calling it the Jaded. Like, I think the Storm is a good name for it, or the Storm has come. You know, like, they could come up with any kind of different name for it instead of just calling it the Jaded and enforcing Cora Jade to change the name of her finisher when she comes back. I just say give Jade Cargill the new name instead of giving it to Cora Jade, but whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, pretty obvious match. Cargill and her team won. Cargill pinned Dakota Kai. And Asuka has joined Mercedes Moné as the second woman to go 0-6 at WrestleMania. And Bianca Belair is still undefeated at WrestleMania, 4-0. I find it really dumb how Bianca Belair was a part of one of the Battle Royals. I think it was the 34 one. She was a part of one of the women's Battle Royals that they used to do at WrestleMania. And it's funny how they don't count it for Bianca Belair, but Mercedes and Asuka are literally 0-6. Well, Mercedes won at WrestleMania, but you get my point what I'm trying to say here. The point I'm trying to make is that they do not count Bianca's loss in the Battle Royal. But Asuka was in the WrestleMania 35 Women's Memorial Battle Royal. That counted as a loss. And Sasha was in the WrestleMania 34 Battle Royal, and they counted that as a loss. So how can you count it as a loss for them, but not count it as a loss for Bianca? That's the thing I don't understand here. Like, why is it a loss for Sasha and Asuka, but not a loss for Bianca? So I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Why is it a loss for them, but not a loss for Bianca? I think it's really stupid. Bianca's record should really be 4-1. Her record should really be 4-1. Actually, it should be 3-1, actually. But you know what I mean. She shouldn't be undefeated at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn battled Gunther, the ring general, the Gunther, for the Intercontinental title, 15 minutes and 30 seconds. This was a really good match, and Sami Zayn being the first guy to beat Gunther just made... I think it was very obvious that Sami was winning because of the fact that they were building this whole story around Sami Zayn not being able to beat Gunther, Chad Gable saying he can't beat Gunther, and all this stuff, Sami saying he didn't want to lose again in front of his son, in front of his wife, and all this stuff, and Chad Gable training him. It was kind of very clear that they were building up Sami Zayn to beat Gunther, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because Sami Zayn is one of Triple H's golden boys. Sami Zayn has always been one of Triple H's favorites from NXT. So it does not surprise me at all. It does not surprise me at all. It really doesn't surprise me at all that Triple H pulled the trigger and had Sami Zayn win the Intercontinental Championship. So it's not that big of a shock to me, because Sami loves Triple H loves Sami, so it's not that big of a shock to me. But it was a good match. It was a good match, and Gunther was due to lose. He was due to lose at WrestleMania. Not at WrestleMania, but he was due to lose his title. And you know what? Gunther had one of the best title reigns in the modern era. He never needed help. In all of his matches. I think he maybe had interference one time in all of his matches, which I believe was against Braun Strowman, but one time. Only one time, but majority of the time, he never needed anyone's help to beat anyone. A true fighting champion. Gunther was a true fighting champion, and it was a great match. Sami Zayn being the guy to beat Gunther, to me, made sense because of the story, but now I feel like they could be building up Sami Zayn. I feel like now they could be building up Chad Gable's jealousy. That Chad Gable's going to turn heel. He's going to become jealous. He's going to be really, really pissy, really angry. He's going to become jealous that Sami did what he couldn't, beat Gunther. So I think Chad's going to turn heel here. I think they're going to have Chad turn heel. And I think they might be slowly breaking up the Alpha Academy. I think they might be breaking up the Alpha Academy, which I don't want. I don't want to see that happen, but... Or maybe they end up turning them all heel. Who knows? But But yeah, it's something that you could keep in mind. So Sami Zayn is the new Intercontinental Champion. Congratulations to Sami Zayn. He definitely deserves it. So yeah, really good match there between him and Gunther. So now, let's see where they go with Gunther from here. So the main event was the Bloodline, The Rock, and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I don't know about you, but the starting of this matchup was very, very boring. It was very slow. But over time, the match did pick up, and it did get better. It did get better as it picked up. The highlight for me was Roman spearing The Rock. Hopefully, to me, that's a sign that Roman is going to lose his title, that The Rock is going to screw him over. The Rock came out with like a custom belt. That Muhammad Ali's wife gave him. So, honestly, it wasn't a bad main event, but the outcome was pretty obvious. They had The Rock pin Cody. So let's look at this here. The people that Cody has lost to have been Roman Reigns, was the first guy to beat him, then Brock Lesnar, then Drew McIntyre, and now The Rock. Those are the 4 people that have beaten Cody Rhodes since his return to WWE. Who would have thought The Rock, of all people, would be on the list of people that Cody Rhodes would lose to? So, with the Bloodline's victory, it's going to be Bloodline rules. So, hopefully this leads to Cody Rhodes getting the win over Roman Reigns on night 2. So, I will give you guys my quick predictions for night 2, because I'll give you guys my quick predictions of what I think will happen on the second night of WrestleMania. I reckon Drew McIntyre will defeat Seth Rollins to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Honestly, I don't care for the Pride versus the Final Testament, but I think the Final Testament will win. LA Knight will beat AJ Styles. As much as I would love Randy to become the United States Champion, I think Logan Paul is going to retain. I think Bayley will beat Io, and hopefully Cody defeats Roman. So those are my predictions for the second night of WrestleMania. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this review. Hit that thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the other side.